The Forestmen are one of LEGO's most iconic and well-known factions, and they've always had a super cartoonish and Robin Hood-esque vibe. But since LEGO re-released them in 2022, they've kind of fell out of favor for most castle fans as their style doesn't fit in well with the modern factions. Today I want to show off a custom faction that I've made, upgrading the Forestmen to show a more realistic and less cartoonish version of them using more muted colors like olive green and dark green. Anyways, let's get into it, starting off with the leaders. For this army, I've made 2 leaders, both using the elk shields from the Series 3 elf as opposed to the standard Forestman shield. For the first one, we have this girl who uses the torso and legs from a Mirkwood elf along with this antler hood piece from the D&D Forest Druid. I absolutely love her look for a leader as I feel like the antlers work so well for a modernized Forestman, and the dark brown and green body looks super good. For the other leader, I've given him the torso from the Series 3 elf along with the Wolfpack Beastmaster arms, and then I've paired that with these armored legs from Eomer, and I really love the look for a foresty but still knightly looking figure. I've finished his armor with these pearl dark gray shoulder pads, and then I've used the head from the Conquistador along with this bun hairpiece, and I think he turned out really well. Next up, we have a couple of wizards in the army. For this first one, I've used the torso from the Forest Druid and the legs from the Series 16 Rogue as the base because I love all the pouches and bags on them. For the head, I've used the one from the Series 8 football player because I love the war paint detailing on it, and then for his staff, I've made one with minifigure hands to represent branches, and I think he looks pretty cool overall. For the other wizard, I've made this Radagast inspired one using the Mirkwood elf torso and legs along with the hat and beard piece from Radagast. I wanted to go with another head that had some sort of face paint, so I used this one from the Series 7 Aztec Warrior, and I think it works well with the figure. I've also given him a bird from the Forest Druid as I thought it made sense to include a few animals in this faction. Moving on, we have a couple of heavy infantrymen in the army. I wanted to keep this army pretty unarmored like the original Forestmen, but as I was working on the figures, I figured I wanted to make a couple that looked like real knights but still with a foresty vibe. For the first one, I've made this guy using the torso from the Series 21 Centaur with Beastmaster arms along with the legs from the Series 8 Actor. I gave him the shoulder pads from the Frightening Knight for a more armored look, and then I finished him off with a great helm along with this cool plume from the reindeer costume. For the other one, I've gone with an olive green and brown base using the torso from Dwalin the Dwarf and the legs from the Series 20 Viking. For the helmet, we have this awesome looking pearl dark gray cheek guard helmet, and I love the overall vibe of the figure. I finished him off with a dark brown Mando cape because I feel like it fit the figure better than a full-sized one. Moving on to the bulk of the army, we have groups of 5 for the different types of Forestmen I've made. So there's 5 light infantry, 5 standard archers, and 5 longbowmen. Starting off with the longbowmen, I've made a few with a fairly standard design, and then dark red and dark blue based ones to give an ode to the different colors of the original Forestmen. We have one using a Legolas torso, Viking CMF legs, and a brown Forestman hat with a dark green feather. Then we have this one who uses a different Lord of the Rings elf torso along with the goat herder legs, topped with a dark green Forestman hat, and I really like how this figure turned out, especially with the cool mask and reindeer plume. Next, we have a more dark green based one using the torso from the Centaur CMF along with the legs from the Series 3 elf, and then I've given him this sweet dark green hood piece from the Rogue CMF. Moving on to the dark blue Forestman, we use the torso from the Series 20 Viking along with these legs from Star Wars, and then I of course finished her off with the dark blue hood and cape, and I think she looks pretty cool. For the dark red Forestman, I've used the torso from the Fierce Barbarian and the legs from the Rogue, and then I finished them off with a dark red hood, and overall I'm really happy with these longbowmen. Moving on to the squad of archers, we start off with this guy who has a big bushy dark brown beard and a brown Forestman cap, and I just really love this beard for an overgrown and foresty vibe. Next up, we have a more basic looking archer using the olive green and brown Viking torso along with this old style dark brown peasant hood, which works really well for a modernized Forestman. This guy also has a simple design using a different Viking torso with a brown Forestman hat, and then this next guy has a very much dark green look with the Centaur torso along with a dark green hood, and I really do love this combo with the Mirkwood elf legs. For the final archer, we have another olive green and dark brown based one using the torso from Dwalin the Dwarf, and I definitely like how these archers turned out. For the final bulk of the army, we have the light infantry. Starting off, we have this guy who's sort of the leader with these cool armored prints from the Series 3 elf. I gave him a spear and a short axe which look really cool, and then I finished him off with a Mando cape to make him a bit more interesting. Next up, we have one using this reversed Viking torso that has a deer emblem which matches pretty well with the shield. I unfortunately didn't have another dark green Forestman hat, but the standard green one still works pretty well. This next guy is one of my favorite figures that I've made using Legolas's torso with Beastmaster arms along with this awesome beard from Dwalin. This spearman has a super basic design, although as I'm sure you've noticed, I'm using the dual molded spears for all of them instead of the single molded ones, as they look significantly cooler and more modern. Finally, we have a simple axeman using the torso from the Series 4 Viking CMF and the axe from the D&D Dwarf Barbarian. This is probably my favorite squad in the army as I love the added diversity in their weapons. Finally, I have a few miscellaneous figures that I've made, the first of them being this cool flag bearer who uses this reversed Lloyd torso along with the actor CMF legs, and then I've given him this awesome hair and beard piece from Noid the Dwarf dwarf that works really well for a Forestman. Next up, we have a simple bard to play tunes among the group. I used this torso from Bomber the Dwarf, and I think it fits perfectly with this goat herder head to make a figure with a super goofy and happy sort of vibe. Now every group of Forestmen needs a shepherd to keep an eye on their animals, so here we have this figure using the torso and dress from the Forest Maiden with the arm swapped out. I've given her the silly face print from the Series 20 pirate with a missing tooth, and then I've accompanied her with a couple of goats and a pig, and I think this figure just fits into the Forestman perfectly. Anyways, let me know what your favorite of these figures are, and let me know your thoughts on the Forestman. Also, if you want to earn a free $40, you can sign up for Rakuten using my affiliate link in the description. If you like LEGO Castle content, subscribe because I make a new video every Saturday, and as always, thank you for watching.